What is up, you awesome CistReactZ, CistReactZ guys? Today we're reacting to how I built my Springtrap cosplay. He's real again by the regular sauce. So make sure you guys subscribe to the regular sauce, hit the like button, and comment down below. I gotta see how the hell the regular sauce be doing this stuff, man. I'm glad they made a video about this. I need to see the whole creative process. How do you bring them so real into life?
Hey everyone, it's been a little while since I've done a build video like this, huh? Well, I'm back and I've learned a lot more, so I can at least
regular sauce made another one before.
Subject of spring trapping.
Why is he hitting the gritty?
You're asking, why spring trap again? Haven't you done like 3 versions before? Okay, look, I have, but I like him so much, and I'm doing him again.
He is an interesting animatronic to try to make.
He burned in the Texas heat, unfortunately.
It's a zombie inside of a robot.
So after I'd finished all my builds for PAX 2024, I decided I really wanted to do another non-hard shell character. While I initially was going to do Withered Freddy and Foxy, I decided against it last minute because I didn't want to just do characters that'll appear in the second movie. And I started thinking,
but it would be interesting to see you get it done first
in a future movie. And then I realized the conveniently non-game accurate Springtrap design that currently is present in the movies. I then immediately decided I'll just do another game Springtrap, but this time
Springtrap, okay,
better. And now we're here.
Wow.
So to preface, this isn't much of a tutorial as it is a process of the building of the suit. It's more of a look into my brain as I adapt and design a character.
You see the look into that.
To a wearable suit.
Oh my god, what the hell was that? That was like flesh trap.
Bigger chunks of the build process because I got really into it. Hopefully by the next video I can afford some actual filming equipment. Okay, now we can actually start talking about the build. So at first my idea was just to adapt Game Springtrap as accurately as possible with some extra details, similar to the yellow rabbit from the movie, like the burnt withering and the foam on his body and the way that's cut.
The glowing eyes, bro.
Mock-up using the Help Wanted model. While I did initially retopologize the model itself, I did have to completely redo the mesh to be unwithered. I also did a bunch of resizing,
mesh?
And it's basically not the same model
Y'all gotta explain these terms to me. What is mesh?
Part of the process, I also knocked out all the animatronics and the head mechanisms. As soon as the 3D mock-up was done, I went to my good friend Austin to do some concept drawovers I could base some ideas on. He ended up getting pulled away to another project, but we did get the concepts for the eyes done. So I decided to just go with those.
God damn!
The eyes are always the most important part of a build to nail. They're the main focal point people will immediately look at when they see something. In this case, I wanted the eyes to look
Why she kicked the Steve guy?
So when you make eye contact with Springtrap, you just immediately feel uncomfortable. Initially, I wanted them to be just completely organic, and that was the direction Austin went with the art. But by
to have the initial thought of I want people to feel uncomfortable when they see me, that's just how you know the mind inside of regular sauce is crazy. That's how you know this man is insane.
I ended up leaning a little bit more into the plastic look based on actual animatronic eyes and how they tend to yellow with age. Though I did add some extra organic looking effects like veins and red spots to leave it ambiguous.
And red spots.
But of course, the versions I painted on video ended up failing in the clear coat casting stage, so I just redid them off camera. Same deal, just a little bit darker around the edges. After I got some more successful versions from the molds, I coated them in an extra layer of epoxy to get them to look extra shiny and gross. Okay, now let's get back to the main part of the build. So I printed all the body parts I'd modeled previously.
And you know regular sauce paid attention in woodshop. Seriously.
That pattern was then transferred to some paper, digitized,
is that a controller?
At a larger scale.
Is that a Genesis controller?
1:1 scale, since the patterns were going to be more
what's the lore there?
Due to the angular nature of Springtrap's feet. Those were then patterned, but I didn't bother digitizing them since they wouldn't need to be upscaled. The head was also done being printed by this point, so I finished it with some spray fillers and did some light sanding in between each layer. The idea behind the withering on this interpretation of Springtrap was similar to the yellow rabbit. I really dig that effect of the fabric and foam being eaten away around the holes, so I decided to just
it's really nice.
Whole Springtrap suit. I begun the process of transferring the blown up and cut out patterns to EVA.
That's crazy. His cat's helping him make stuff.
Provided by Coscom Cosplay Supplies. They also sponsored the last Springtrap years ago.
It's a good Bakugo fit.
Help out again. You can actually use the code regular sauce to
look
get
at that.
Total order.
Go do that.
So if you're looking to build your own FNAF suit, they've got all the foam you'll need.
Alright, we're gonna skip the sponsorship just a second. But make sure y'all go use that code. You'll support regular sauce.
I did some heat forming with all the parts to get everything a little bit more rounded out.
Damn, regular sauce really just do be in the lab before all these huge FNAF events doing all this. Regular sauce just needs to leave a camera out while he does all this work. see how long it actually takes when you like compile all the footage together. I spent 4 years making this Springtrap suit.
I wanted to try to get the withering as game accurate as possible, and if you've seen what that looks like, you'd probably know his withering is the
They look like little islands.
Realistic thing ever. But I, thought it might be worth at least trying to see what happens. This meant I needed to study and find every single hole placement, which was extremely fun and not more tedious than I could have ever previously imagined.
Nah, getting all the intricate little holes right? Nah. That is something I do not have the retention for.
After spending about 2 nights,
I'm really interested on how you get the fleshy stuff right, though. How do you do that?
I did some sanding and dremeling around the edges of the holes to look like the yellow rabbit and to add some extra depth. If you end up doing anything similar to this, please make sure you wear respiratory equipment. If this stuff gets in your lungs, you will become like Springtrap.
I like how that's 5 minutes in the video. Some kid's already dead, man. Like, Jesus.
But sooner than you should be. Once that was all done, I blasted it with air.
It's like 5 whole ass minutes, and then after a sponsorship. Yo, it's kind of funny how someone leaves like a whole don't do this or you'll die after they said the sponsor. That's no shade. It's just kind of funny how the video placement is. I love regular sauce.
This just seals the foam in and makes it look smoother. It also helps with the adhesion of paint. I went over it all with brown paint because I figured I'd eventually be darkening it, which I did eventually do when I airbrushed the fabric.
God
Somewhere in
damn.
the middle of this, I also begun doing the ears, which I patterned at full scale and then built from EVA foam.
Look at the head!
The endo was built from some aluminum bits I found at Lowe's, with a hinge in the middle I screwed together on it. I added some springs to really get it to wiggle.
Oh shit!
I'm really happy with how bouncy they came out.
Yeah, that looks
The
cool.
inner ears were also built around this time. I made them out of EVA foam as well. I ended up getting a similar effect to the Yellow Rabbit's inner ears, but not completely matching.
Imagine Steel Wool sponsors him to make like 14 of these suits. I wonder how insane he'll go.
Springtrap are in fact very
How much money that would cost.
Somewhere in this process, I did some hands, which I 3D printed. I tried to get some similar articulation to my V3 Springtrap suit, but with the game endo look, the old method hinges I used would wiggle a lot. So I tried to do something a little less wiggly. I ended up doing the hands entirely before furring the suit, so I printed the fingers, primed and finished them, did some rust effects, and then I assembled them. Very similar to my old Springtrap hands in concept, but in execution they're probably some of the most robust hands I've designed up to now. Once that was done, it was time to get into sewing. I did all hand sewing on this build to match with the fleece I was using. Whenever I was done
probably messed that up.
fabric on it, I then have to viciously cut it up, which was painful to have to spend so much time sewing stuff and then screwing it up, but it at least looks cool. I did have the main batch of fabric dyed because I cannot dye 12 yards of fabric in my 2-bedroom apartment. However, I did end up hand dyeing the smaller sections for the lower legs. You'll notice that Springtrap's lower legs get darker as they go lower. The hands came out really nice. I managed to recreate that weird clipping effect by making the fingers big like they are in Scott's original model. However, having to hand sew 24 individual finger pieces was torture. Though it was only a
Bro's got like a whole finger controller.
Finger pieces from foam, and then individually heat form and glue together 24 individual finger pieces.
That's some crazy shit, man.
I'm happy with it though.
This man's got the finger controller.
I also did the effects on the teeth, which I printed and then airbrushed yellow. I did add some extra greens and browns to make them extra gross, as well as some extra touch-ups done by hand to make the cracks come out more clearly. Now on to the fun part, the withering. Now going by the Yellow Rabbit from the movie, you'll notice that there's burn marks all around his withering. That's what I did for this entire Springtrap build. I used a soldering iron to burn all the edges of the fabric that had holes in it, as well as adding some extra burn spots around to make it seem like the fabric is also aging in other parts that aren't ripped open.
Wow.
To the observant eye, you'll also notice that I tried to recreate the veins his original model has. That was a last-minute call, but I think it worked out beautifully. This burning process took about 2 days, and I wore a heavy
intricate-ass veins.
Once that was done, I begun airbrushing. So, by this point I was getting really close to my initial deadline. I wanted to have Springtrap completed by the 26th of October for Halloween, so it was crunch time. This meant using my phone tripod I was recording with or a light stand I could use outside on my patio.
What the hell?
But we'll work with what we have. So the whole suit was magically airbrushed off camera. I was
Damn,
super
the
happy
head
with
looks
the
so
final effects.
real.
I tried to get somewhere in between the movie cloud spec reminiscent look and the AR color scheme. Now onto the parts I've been dreading. The endoskeleton.
Uh-oh.
I was dreading this part because it's like an entire secondary suit. And by this point I was already past my initial deadline, so I was pretty worried. It actually ended up not being too bad. I just adapted the ideas seen on the actual game endo and made them bigger to fit an actual human underneath. I also did an endo cage system to eat up some of the space in the
Nah,
torso
messing
to
up
make it
would
more
be the
visually distinct.
ultimate
I based
crash
this
out
off
at this
Tina the
point, it
endo from the
seems.
movie. You'll notice a lot of rough textures and gashes all over the metal. I thought this would make it look more aged underneath, like this thing has really been jostled around in the 40 plus years of it existing, and I think it came out really nice. After doing some metallic spray paint over the Plastidip's parts, I did some black paint washes over it before I did the rust effects. For the corpse and flesh sections, I ended up just doing them game accurate out of foam dowels and sanded down chunks of foam. I thought it would be cool to have the design embrace the idea that the flesh on the endo is in fact a new, regrowing flesh from Afton coming back to life. I was mostly inspired by Springtrap a bit as well. Now all the individual
Yo, that is Springtrap fucking perfectly cut clip.
Elastic and then do the final details. I assembled the head together, did some animatronic tests, and ended up leaning into the jitteriness of the servos and nailed down each painful effort Afton is putting into every movement. I spent like a day just adding wires around the body and doing some final paint touch-ups, as well as some small joint details between the arms and the legs.
Ew.
Now, it was time to finally wear this thing. After about a month and a half of build time, it was time to...
Wait, I just realized.
I spent like a day just adding wires.
Look at that, it's the fucking mouth too. What the?
Around the body and doing some final paint touch-ups, as well as some small joint details between the arms and the legs. Now, it was time to finally wear this thing. After about a month and a half of build time, Springtrap was finally complete. Now here's some footage from our first full test fitting.
Here we go. Bro, taking that outside and just standing outside of someone's window would be the ultimate fucking prank video. Menaces like DAREGULARSAUCE'S can really just mass produce their own trolling videos like this. Jeez. It's like bro escaped his own video game. God damn. Bro, is bro tweaking out? Is he alright? I love the edgy guitars. Nah, bro's really got them animatronic moves down though. God damn.
Original song for this. You can support them on their platforms, which will be linked in the description and the card. I'm extremely proud of this build. It took a month and a half of work, but I think I've managed to one-up my original Springtrap suit.
I wonder what happens when DAREGULARSAUCE'S has a year to work on a suit. If this is what like a month looks like.
Since I'm in Vegas, I'm gonna definitely try to take him to the strip, so we'll see what I end up getting into. A huge thank you to Coscom and U2's for sponsoring a gigantic part of this build. U2 sponsored about 66 of the entire budget, which was super awesome of them, and Coscom supplied all the foam for this project. Whew, okay, now I can rest for a moment until I start the next build. Okay, I'm just gonna recline in my reclining chair.
The next build.
And hopefully nothing bad happens during my rest.
What?
Who could that be?
What the hell?
Hello? Nick Fury?
Nick
no, I don't
Fury?
Want to be part of your team. Stop calling me.
What the fuck?
That guy's been bothering me for ages. Something about a weird threat in the vague shape of a...
Yo, okay, I must be the only person in the like community who does not understand this shit. What is this? What the fuck is that? Is it just because of how goofy it looks, just all gold? Like I just don't understand why I keep seeing this shit. Oh my god. If you have Twitter, just tweet me this for no reason. Just send me pictures of golden Springtrap so I'll forget and get scared. Anyway, guys, if you guys want to see more DAREGULARSAUCE'S or FNAF cosplay or just FNAF costume type of videos, make sure you guys hit the like button, comment down below. Let me know who makes these types of videos and I will go check them out if they allow me to. And anyway, I'll see you guys later. Peace out.